What's up, guys? Welcome back. Tony here. You might hear some noise out there. They are actually finished grading my yard. I've lived with a dirt yard for about 5 months now. They are out there knocking it out. Looks like I'm going to get some sod, which is a good thing. Dog's going to be happy. But anyway, today what we're going to talk about is the FP3. And what we're going to talk about is the auto-tune feature. I said I was going to do a separate video because there's a lot going on. It is an easy process to do, but you kind of need to know what's going on in the background while you're doing this. So I'm going to give you a very basic explanation of this. I mean, like 2 + 2 = 4 explanation. So before you start an auto-tune, it is critical that you have a map that is either exact or very close to the combination of parts that you have on your motorcycle. And if you don't know which map is close, if they don't have your exact exhaust on there, give Vance and Hines a call and they will give you a recommendation of which map to use. You want to have a map that is either exact or right on combination of parts that you have. And you probably saying, well, why? Auto-tune should take care of that. Well, the auto-tune uses your stock narrowband O2 sensors. With a stock narrowband O2 sensor, base readings here swing one way or the other that it can actually read. If you have a wideband O2 sensor, you know, baseline is here, you have a much wider range of information that the ECU can read. So we're dealing with stock, so we really don't have that big of a margin of error, say. So if your map is here and you want it to be here, it's not going to happen. Not with an auto-tune with the stock O2 sensors. You need to be in a closer range. The map's only going to move so much. So really, what is the FP3 doing when you're in auto-tune? So I made this little chart, it may not make any sense. VE is your volumetric efficiency front and rear cylinders. This value determines what your AFR is, your air-fuel ratio. A stock band O2 sensor on the AFR can only tell if it's rich or if it's lean. So your volumetric efficiency is basically the value that dictates the AFR. What is this, you ask? Basically, it's the amount of air in your cylinder. So when you change your air filter or your exhaust, you're changing the amount of air that is in that cylinder at any given time. You want to make sure that those values are as close as possible to the combination of parts that you are running. As you're in an auto-tune session in the FP3, the O2 sensors are basically changing these values. That's the reason you get an orange and a green cell on your chart. The orange is it's learned 1 cylinder, the green is it has learned 2. So as it learns these, it dictates your AFR, if that makes sense. And like I said, guys, very basic explanation there. Okay, so say you got your map, your CAN map, or the map that closely resembles your setup. Go out, you run a tank or two of gas, let the ECU do its thing. If it's still not running correctly, give Vance and Hines a call, tell them what's going on, and see if they can make any adjustments for you remotely, and you can reflash that map and give that a run. If still you're not happy, then I would say let's go ahead and try an auto-tune. So with the auto-tune, this needs to be on your bike. You need to find a home for it. This has to stay on the bike during the auto-tune process. And I advise finding some type of holder or something for your phone. That way you can actually see what's going on. So guys, I will tell you, when you start this auto-tune session, you're going to notice a couple of things right off the bat. Accel enrichment is going to be turned off, and your decel enleanment is going to be turned off. So basically, if you do not let your bike warm up, when you twist that throttle, more than likely it's going to die on you. And also when you're coming off the throttle, you're going to hear a lot of crazy decel pop, and your bike is going to run, well, it's going to run like shit. Don't be alarmed. I mean, that's just because there's some stuff in the background that has been turned off. It's perfectly safe to ride and to do the auto-tune process. So just be aware that that's what you're going to be dealing with when you start the auto-tune. So in order to start an auto-tune session, You go into the view and edit maps, pick your current map, hit Auto-Tune, and you're gonna have to do a little flash thing like you did when you originally flashed, and then it's gonna give you a chart. The chart is going to be RPMs on the left side, and along the top is your throttle position. So as you ride, these cells are gonna populate, either orange or green. Orange means it's learned 1 cylinder, green, it's learned 2. So as you ride your different riding styles, back roads, highways, whatever you do, you go out, it's going to populate. And after the ride, you come back. Now, as it's populating, it's not changing anything in the ECU yet. So when you get back, you need to apply those values, not flash or in the session, but apply those values. Okay, so then when the next ride you go out, you start with a whole new grid, populate that again, just like you did the first time, and at the end of the ride, apply those values. Third time's usually the charm. On your third ride, you're gonna repopulate the grid again as best as you can, and remember, stay within your comfort zone because some of these cells are out of a lot of people's comfort zone as far as riding goes. So use common sense out there when you're trying to populate these grids. I'll just ride like I normally do because my bike is in that range 98% of the time. So that's where I want it to run its best. So that's what I do, but you do what you want with it. And after the third run, you come back, you end the session and flash the map. Auto-Tune is finished. Go out, give it a ride, and see if it's done what it needed to do. I hope that made sense to you. I know it was a lot of information. So if you have any questions, just hit me up in the comments below. I'll be more than happy to answer them. And like always, guys, I appreciate you guys tuning in and letting me waste your time. And ride safe and be careful out there. And until next time, later.